Hello, everyone. Welcome to Women Dialogues. And I'm your host, Shashi Goyal, with all of you again, ready to learn and to create a voice by our today's guest, Michelle from Colorado, United States. Michelle is an international TEDx speaker and host of a show called Mental Shift at the new channel TNC and has been awarded many prestigious awards. So let's start by, welcoming her. So welcome, Michelle, on this platform.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for you and everyone who gets to come and watch and listen.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so nice. Thank you. It's our pleasure to, be with you today. Michelle, let's start by knowing about you and your life. Tell us kindly about your life and your challenges, what way you have developed yourself the way you are today.
Wow, that's a big story. I'm 52 years old, so there's a lot of years. But I grew up in the Philippines. My father's American, my mother's a Filipina, but I grew up as a military child. So I traveled around the world pretty much all my life. I married my high school sweetheart. We have two children and we traveled the world again, but then we retired in the state of Colorado, USA. Now, the reason I get to that point so quickly is because I thought my life was fine. I thought I was living the life I wanted. And it wasn't until May of 2014 when I was in a car accident that I realized that I wasn't living the life I wanted to live. And the reason I say that is because 12 days after my car accident, we thought I was fine. But 12 days later, I stopped speaking. And then I stopped walking. And then I thought it was only a month or it ended up being 2 years that I didn't walk or talk. I would only put out maybe a fragment, maybe a cylinder, liquid, but I couldn't say glass of water. But for 12 months, I was trapped in my head. And while trapped in my head, I realized that although I thought I was living this wonderful life, I hadn't. I had been living a lie. I had been living what I thought everyone thought, you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have two children, you're supposed to buy a house. I thought I was doing it right. But when I was trapped in my head, I realized I was very unhappy with what I had done in my life. So 24 months later, when I started talking and walking again, after lots of therapy, I did a TED talk, a TEDx, and I shared the story of watching my mother-in-law live a life of intention. And that when she got sick with cancer, she never had to change the way she was living because she was living so authentically already. And I promised to the world I would live very intentionally and I would live an authentic, a real life. And I declared it to the world. And what's neat about that is there was a journey from that point on that no one really understood that I declared. I was going to take care of myself. I was going to live every day like it was my last day. And I would love everyone that came in my presence.
Yeah.
So for my TEDx, if you go to my website, michellemoras.com, it's my name, you'll see my TEDx. I'm triple the size that I am now. So I was 389 pounds when I did my TEDx. I was very unhappy and I was very sick. I went to India. I went to the Women's Economic Forum. I went to New Delhi. I started traveling as a speaker and found out I had breast cancer. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then again, another epiphany. Here I was at TEDx saying, I'm going to live my best life. Then I found I had cancer and told you only have 3 months to live. I again had to reassess what I had promised myself and the world. Yes, I had changed my ways, but not enough. So I say that because it's been 4 years after my diagnosis of breast cancer and I'm still alive. Okay. So I say it because we hear things from experts and we believe them. If I believed that I would never walk again, I wouldn't be here or I wouldn't talk again. If I believed that I would die in 3 months, I wouldn't have kept fighting and I wouldn't be here. So my journey has been of becoming my own cheerleader, basically, the one who stands up for myself. You can't
Right.
sit and wait for the world to take care of you. You have to take care of yourself so that you can give back more. And
Yeah.
that's really my story. I'm here today
Mhm.
because I had to love myself enough to fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a big message as a coach for me is my
Mhm.
message is stop apologizing for what you aren't. Stop
Yeah.
apologizing for what you thought you should be and embrace
Mhm.
who you are, love who you are, and be the best version of you
Yeah.
unapologetically.
Yeah. Yeah, as you are bringing a lot of inspiration and motivation by sharing your life story and challenges, how you have gone through. But when you was going through all those situation, which is really irony, like one after another, and we really feel apologize that you have to gone through all those things. But what was your inner value or the thought was going on that yes, I need to keep myself to go forward and to see myself on this platform. How the way you realize, as you were saying, you was happy and you was so much feeling like I'm living my life the way I want, but later that uh, sense came in you. What was the hitting point, or what was the point where you felt this kind of thing?
Well, that's the thing. People look at me now and do, oh, she's so strong and see, she's so happy. Well, I thought I was happy, but when I was
Mhm.
trapped in my head, the inner critics, all those critics that say, you're not good enough. Why are you trying to do that? You lost your voice because you don't have anything to say. You lost your
Mhm.
ability to walk because no one wants to see you anyways. So I had a lot
Mhm.
of voices in my head telling me, go
Mhm.
away, kill yourself. And
Mhm.
I ended up writing a book in my head
Mhm.
called It's Not Luck Overcoming You. And it was me arguing with the voices in my head. And
Mhm.
so, although I said I was happy at the beginning, I was happy. I was blissfully, ignorantly happy with my life. I thought
Mhm.
I was just existing.
Yeah.
Once I was trapped in my head, I realized I
Mhm.
had to fight for who I was. When those
Yeah.
critics in my head were telling me, go ahead, kill yourself. Go ahead.
Mhm.
You're not worthy. You're not good. Go away. You have
Yeah.
nothing to give to the world.
Mhm.
I was fighting with those voices saying, but I am good. Ah, no, you're not. You're just lazy. No, I'm
Mhm.
not lazy. And so I was fighting. I wrote a book
Mhm.
called It's Not Luck Overcoming You of me arguing with these voices in my head, helping
Mhm.
my readers work through their inner critics to prove to their inner critic that they are worthy. They do deserve certain things in their lives and that the inner
Mhm.
critic is wrong. And to
Mhm.
realize that our inner critic really isn't there to hold us back, but it's really to be our guardian, to protect us and
Yeah.
challenge us for our next level. So I took it as a challenge. And so I did grow through that very
Mhm.
painful process of arguing with myself. It
Yeah.
was terrifying. I really didn't think I was going to live, honestly, because I was so depressed and so
Mhm.
angry. And you have to think, I couldn't talk. So I have all these thoughts in my head. No one understands me. It was very frustrating. And then
Yes.
to get through that, start talking and then progress. Oh, I'm traveling, I'm an international speaker. Suddenly it happened very quickly. And to find out being a diagnosis of breast cancer, you're going to you're expected to die within 3 months.
Mhm.
That was a really hard hit. Here I was fighting for my brain to be able to move, and then you're going to die anyways. Your average
Mhm.
person would say, forget it then. I give up. And I
Mhm.
said, I have 3 months to make a difference in this world.
Mhm.
So I went faster. And then
Mhm.
3 months turned into now 4 years. And I've done so much more. So I now have 2 books. I've got a podcast called Denim and
Yeah.
Pearls. I've got a TV show out of the Philippines called Mental Shift. And
Yeah.
I'm helping and coaching so many people. So I'm
Mhm.
very, very happy that I found who I am
Yeah.
and where my place is in the world. Now, granted,
Yeah.
I didn't know my place. I just kept moving until enough of the pegs kept connecting. So if you're out there and you're like, she knows what she's doing, I don't know what I'm doing. No, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right,
I
right,
just kept moving and I kept searching for the next thing that would bring me up another level. So
right.
don't ever think that you're lost and confused. Just keep
Hmm.
moving, and what you're supposed to find will find you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really inspiring. As I was listening from beginning and I till now, like while hearing all these things, it it makes me feel like it's kind of a journey to your soul searching, or your kind of
Mhm.
yourself you are searching. We acknowledge, we know that we have to, and it's not uh, about you or me, it's about in general. People have gone through lots of ups and downs, but through these ups and downs, how they find their own version, which, like the way you become the way you are today, right? So it
Mhm.
is beautiful the way when we see, like, okay, what was I and what I am today, it's beautiful. So when you are doing all those things, coaching, mentoring, you are international speaker, so what are your core leadership values, and how
My,
do they influence how you show up in your professional, in your personal, and in your community settings?
my core is authenticity and resiliency. So
Yeah,
when you talk to me, no matter where you meet me, I'm always this lady, always the same person, because
yeah.
I spent 46 years of my life being what I thought was the right
Mhm.
person. And what I realized was the right person was here all along.
Mhm.
And I kept pushing her aside, doing, you're not good enough, shut up. You're not good enough, shut up. And I meet so many other women like that that do, I'm just going to play this person because that's who I'm supposed to be. No, be unauthentically you. Just be authentically you. Don't
Yeah.
apologize. And because the
Mhm.
world is waiting for each of us to be who we are meant to be, not who our friend is, not who our sister is, not who our mother was, who we are, because the
Yeah.
world needs us. When we look at the world and we think it's so chaotic and there's so much drama and so much pain in the world, I believe
Mhm.
it's because there's so many of us not stepping into who we are. And that's why I'm excited, Sashi, when you invited me to the show, because your audience is my audience.
Yeah.
Women, it is
Yeah.
our time to stand up. We
Yeah.
are the ones who are guiding our children. If we play small, our children play small. And we're causing this chain effect of people playing small. It is
Yeah.
time to step up and be the best version of you. Not
Mhm.
what you think other people want you to be, who you truly are. So get
Yeah.
quiet, find your peace, and look in the mirror every day and tell yourself how much you love yourself, and pick one little thing every day. Every day, find something new to love about yourself. Because
Yeah.
46 years of my life, every day, I found something I hated about myself. And when I had that brain injury and then breast cancer, I learned that the
Mhm.
greatest love of all, like Whitney Houston says, the greatest love of all
Mhm.
is yourself.
Yourself.
It
Mhm.
starts here. So
Yeah.
love yourself. And that is the core of what I talk about, what I share in the
Mhm.
world of with my coaching, my mentoring. It doesn't matter male or female. I
Yeah.
talk to the core. Be authentically you. Stop
Yeah.
playing small and
Mhm.
be the best version of you.
Yeah, that's so powerful, and that's so important to know each and every one of them. Like, we are important in ourselves. But as when you are talking about these being authentic, being your best version of yourself, and feel yourself you are important. These are very soft skill and very important in each person's life, and especially when we are talking about women, they put themselves as second, right? And
Always.
they are good enough in many things, they are keep doing a lot of things, but still they are not good enough to project themselves, they are not good enough to say and authentically, yes, I am this and I was doing this, why it is, and how we can overcome that.
Well, it's an everyday process. So yes, you're seeing this woman who's very, very confident. but it's an everyday process. It's been part of our cultures, all of our cultures, that the woman has the baby stays home, the mother stays with the baby. You succumb to the family, you succumb to everything because you are a second class citizen. And it's very hard to break from that, because I'm not saying we aren't mothers and sisters and wives, and daughters. What I'm saying is, to be the best version of that, you must stand in your power. So how do you overcome the the second class citizen is stop apologizing for what you're not. So here's the thing. If you look at what you do, and this is what helped me a lot, I wrote down a list of everything I do in the
Right.
house, just in the house alone. Because I remember saying, I have a degree, but I can't use it because I never used it because I had babies and I've been traveling. I haven't been able to work. So I don't have any skills at all. And
Right.
then we sat down and I'm writing a list. I'm the accountant for the house. I'm the manager of the house. The executive director of the house. I'm the head school teacher of my children. I'm the cook, the baker, the candlestick maker, the plumber, I started writing everything down, the mechanic before the car. I mean, women, we put ourselves down so well. If you write down everything you do, you're even the alarm clock in the morning for the family. Okay.
Yeah.
So you do everything. And if you write down everything you do, you realize that everything you do, the house would not function if you weren't there. One
Yeah.
of my biggest wake up calls was when I had my brain injury. At my brain injury, I was working at my church. I was running political campaigns. I was the volunteer at my children's school. I was doing 6 or 7 things all at the same time.
Yeah.
And I still thought I wasn't good enough. When I had my brain injury, I couldn't walk or talk. I couldn't drive. I couldn't volunteer. I couldn't do anything I thought I had to do because no one else could do it but me. Guess what? They found other people. Everybody else did it. My family, oh, I have to cook. I have to clean the whole house every day. When I couldn't move, my husband and my children took over everything. And I realized everything that I thought only I could do, because
Yeah.
that was the mother's place, was replaced. And so I realized they didn't need me as badly as I thought they needed me, which means I could go do what I wanted to do if I empowered them to take care of themselves. So my
Yeah.
very young children started making a schedule of how they would clean the house, who was making dinner. They would take turns because I couldn't do it. And when I finally came out of this brain fog with my traumatic brain injury, I didn't come back into the house to do anything because they still did it all because my brain injury. If I bend over, I fall. If I get tired, I pass out. So I learned very quickly that we take on a lot of responsibility
Yeah.
on ourselves. We assume it because we assume that's where our role is.
Yeah.
No, share the role. Because if we help our children grow and understand this, our sons and our daughters will be better spouses for their spouses. They'll be better parents. Think of the effects that we have by standing in our power.
Yeah.
How do you overcome this secondhand citizen mentality?
Yeah.
Write down everything you do. And then every day say, I'm very good at this, and find what it is. Because
Yes.
we have to remember, when we get, like, for those of us who are married or those of us who are adults and out there with the world, when we find our partner, we both have our own lives. And then when we come together, the man takes over and the woman drops. No life. And then we say, why is our marriage having so many problems?
Yeah.
Well, it's because we were two individuals that came together and then we melded into one, and one of us lost our personality.
Yeah.
It would behoove us in our marriages, our relationships, to stay who you are. Be the woman that married that man, or that man who married that woman. Keep our identities, because then it keeps us stronger, because we communicate as equals instead of now you're the second hand. No, we're not.
Yeah.
So stand up for who you are. Be the best version of you. If you have to remind yourself, you write a note, like piece of paper, write it everywhere, and then stick it on your mirror so you remember every day all the things you do and all the things you are capable of doing,
Yeah.
because the foundation is in the mother.
Yes. Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it is reminding me another way when you are talking about the two individuals meet together and they have equal their potential individuality, and but over a period of time one gets dropped down. It's like the when we talk about this compromise and all. So I always feel when we are, what is the definition of actually compromise? Compromise means that's not real relation is exactly, right? If
It's
we
give and
are
take.
two passionate people meeting together having a relationship, and if I am compromising or the other one spouse, my spouse is compromising, that's not true relation, right? We have to understand each other's strength and become support to make them to grow more.
Complementary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
complementary rather than
Compliments.
being compromised. Yeah, that's very beautiful way to say this. Rather than become compromise, do become a complementary. Yeah, that's beautiful way, I can say that.
That's right.
So
Well, because you think about that. When you
yeah,
got married, oh, I love talking to you for hours and hours, right? But then
yeah.
you get married and then you stop talking, especially after 10 years, you stop talking. And it's like, what happened? Well, because you stopped talking. Stop compromising and be a complement to each other, and you grow together. Now, when I think of compromising, when you're having an argument, sometimes you
Mhm.
keep fighting just to fight. No, no. Now you can compromise. Is it really that important to you? Nah, it's not that important. Okay, then you can have it. That kind of, that's compromise. But in a relationship, to say, well, I think you're better than me, so you go ahead. No, that's compromising. Don't do that, because that
Mhm.
makes you succumb, and then there's a lack of respect in that relationship.
Yeah.
Respect is so important in relationships. But remember, although respect is important, respect here in
Mhm.
yourself starts with you. How do you
Yeah.
give respect if you don't respect yourself? How do
Mhm.
you give love if you can't love yourself? It
Yeah.
all starts with the insides. Or,
Mhm.
with when you have older children, you hear people, my children just don't respect me at all. Do
Mm.
you respect you?
Mm.
It all
Yeah.
starts inside of us. They learn it from
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So, this deep thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I totally agree with this. The way when we are talking about the bringing a complementary to each other, because it is about to bringing our strengths upwards rather than compromising. And whereas, as you said, unwanted, unnecessary thing, we need to just shut them down, right? We don't need to talk more about these, which are not necessary. But when it is matter of about your abilities, your where you are good in, whether it is a small thing. For women, I have seen myself, many women, they are very good in, mm, even though those skills they don't understand that's their strength, like whether it is cooking or whether it's the special way of doing this calligraphy I've seen, and they just take it like as I said, no, it's your skill. Many of are not able to do. I can't do that. See, you are drawing and you are writing so beautifully, and I can keep it on and I can hang it on my wall and I can see hours and hours. So those, the way I think, if we motivate, if we promote, if we appreciate those skills, even though rather than feeling it's minor, it can become overall the change of their life.
I love to tell people when they say, I don't have a skill, I don't have a gift. I say, oh,
Mm,
really? What do you do that people
mm,
say, wow, you did that? Because what we don't realize is our gift is the one
mm,
of the things that we think are so easy everyone can do. If
mm,
you do, that's not a gift. I can do that with my eyes closed. I can do that
mm,
anytime. That's
mm.
the gift. I
Yeah.
mean, I've met so many people. I meet women, they do, I'm a really good cook, but that's all I can do. And I
Yeah.
do, all just cook? No, that's a skill,
Yeah.
and it's chemistry. You can
Yeah.
smell and know, okay, just a pinch of that, just a little bit more of that. That is a high sensory skill that a lot of people don't have. And they do,
Yeah.
no, it's not. I do. It's a huge skill. And
Yeah.
so when I'm working with women who are especially coming from childbearing age and their kids are going to school and then they're looking for jobs and they do, I don't have any skills. We go
Mm.
through the list of what they do and do, okay, well, that's a skill that applies to this, this, and this. This skill
Right.
applies to, you don't realize the amount of work you do as a mother
Mm.
that amplifies into the world. Women
Mm-hmm.
are so adaptable, so amazing at
Mm-hmm.
shifting so quickly into situations. We can go into a room and calm a room down just by
Mm.
coming in with our softer voice. It's how
Yeah.
we are built. And if
Mm-hmm.
women don't realize the power of being a woman, you need to come talk to us because we need to talk to you about the
Yeah.
power of the feminine.
Exactly. That's
Shakti.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. So when you're talking about these power and all, it reminding me you are author of a book which is uh, to eat, drink, and be merry. What is this title all about, and how you come up with this title, and what is in this book? Tell us a
Okay.
bit
Well,
about it.
Eat, Drink, and Be Merry was the title of my TEDx talk. And what it is it's a saying in America is eat,
Mm-hmm.
drink, and be merry for tomorrow we die, basically. It's a war cry. And I I wrote this book after my brain injury because that's when I realized that Mary, my mother-in-law, who I
Mm-hmm.
love dearly, had
Mm-hmm.
lived the way I wanted to live. So
Mm-hmm.
these are some sayings she used to say. She would say, you must always have a plan, but be flexible in getting how you get to it. And I used to do, what do you mean have a plan but be flexible? That makes no sense. Later on, I found that it makes perfect sense. Have a goal. You must have a goal because, like a GPS, you don't tell where it's going, you don't tell it where you're going to go, it won't tell you anything. You just spin. The second one
Mm-hmm.
she would always say was eat dessert first. So eat, drink, and be merry. Eat dessert first. And I thought was eat cake first, eat
Mm-hmm.
dessert first. No, she said, enjoy the little things in life because when you're on your deathbed, the little things are what matters. The desserts of life are the small things that you think aren't that important. Enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
laughter of children. Enjoy the wind in your hair, the
Mm-hmm.
rustle of leaves, the
Yeah.
ability to wake up in the morning. And then
Mm-hmm.
the third thing she would always say was the differences between a rut and a grave are the dimensions. It was a quote by a woman named Ellen Glasgow. If you
Mm-hmm.
find yourself doing the exact same thing every day and wondering why you're not growing or getting any better,
Yeah.
it's because you're defining, was it Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting something different. So she said, step out of that comfort zone so that you can grow and become a better version of you. And so,
Yeah.
eat, drink, and be merry was me looking at my mother in law and admiring and laughing at how she lived her life so full and so full of intention. And she made such a big difference in the lives of others before she passed
Mm-hmm.
away.
Wow.
She wasn't a movie star. She wasn't an athlete. She wasn't anything famous. She was a math teacher.
Wow.
And I wanted to share the fact that someone who made such a powerful impact on my life and many, many lives was a
Mm-hmm.
simple math teacher who
Mm-hmm.
loved people and laughed a lot. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized that if more of us learn to laugh at ourselves and not take
Mm-hmm.
life so seriously, and
Yeah.
enjoy what we did now, what we love to do. She loved math
Mm-hmm.
and changed the world being ourselves, not being anything else, but wonderfully us.
Mm-hmm.
Eat, drink, and be merry.
Wow. Yeah. That's so beautiful. So that's definitely I can understand and I can relate the how this beautiful title eat, drink, and be merry. So where we can get this book if we would like to or our audience would like to get dig further to get this philosophy and understand more about it. where they can
Well,
get it.
it's the books are on Amazon. They're
Mhm.
also on Kindle. They're on Goodreads. Um, they're also an audiobook now.
Wow.
And what else? If you go to my website, you can watch
Yeah,
the TEDx, which is just a little portion. It's the conclusion of Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. So
yeah.
my two
We will
books are,
share your link with the in the description. So that would be, I think, great and helpful for the audience to, if they would like to get one copy, and or they would like to see and connect with you. So before finishing this episode, I always ask our speaker uh, on this platform, why do you think women dialogue is so important?
women dialogue is so important because for generations we've been told to not talk. And we hide who we really are. We hide our feelings as women. And it's really, I think, the detriment of the world that we are in the state we're in because women haven't stood up more. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe dialogue of women is needed because, let's say it again, we are the ones who bring life to the world.
Yeah.
We are the carriers of the world. If we don't stand for ourselves, look at what we do. Our daughters learn to not stand for themselves. Our sons learn that women don't stand up and don't deserve to stand up. We are
Mm-hmm.
training the next generation how to
Mm-hmm.
treat women. We must have dialogue. We must have hard discussions, difficult discussions about things that are never talked about. Because there's
Mm-hmm.
so many things I grew up as an adult learning that I didn't know as a young girl. Things that
Mm-hmm.
hurt me because I didn't know it happened. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know people took advantage of women. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know. And so I think having women dialogue is so important because it's time for us to talk. It's
Yeah.
time for us to share. And it's time for us to get out of the shadow and stop walking 3 steps behind the man and realize that we are their equal. And without us, the world does not keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so amazing, and that's definitely it is very important in the way you explain why women have to speak up for themselves and for generations and for others. Uh, Before going, what one last thing, and I'd like to ask, uh, uh, what kind of, if in a summary or in summarized way, if one advice you would like to give to our audience, what would it be?
Hmm. It's the quote by Maya Angelou. It's my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. Be the best versions of you. Every day, build a little piece of you that makes you a better you and be happier in your skin. Be unapologetically the woman you are. Thank you for having me.
Wow, be unapologetically the way you are. That's so important and that's wonderful. Uh, Thank you so much, Michelle. It's our pleasure to be with you today. And once again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, audience, for listening, watching, and coming back every time to see the new episode on Women Dialogue. For more information, please check the details in the description below. And if you would like to connect with Michelle, her work, the links are available in the description below as well. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know by your comments what kind of topic you want me to bring for learning and motivation. Thank you.